Hello, everybody. Welcome to Expansion Pass here on Watch Rush Network. I'm your host, and I'm excited. And joining me is the one, the only, the cool cat himself, Mr. Corey Derrick. Hello, good sir.
You threw me off. I wasn't prepared. Cool cat. Cats aren't cool.
They are finicky.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. But I would get crucified if I said they weren't. If I said they weren't cool. So for the sake of this episode, I am kidding.
Everybody, of course, it's Bossman himself, Mr. Corey Derrick. Hello, good sir.
Hello. Hi, Ed.
Hi. It is a new year, 2025.
It's certainly a new year. Yes. Yeah. It's something. You know, a new year. New year, new me is what they say, right? That's what they're trying to tout. That's the saying, as the saying goes.
Yes.
I don't really want to be a new me. I just want to be a less busy me. That's the goal.
Okay. That's a goal. A goal is a goal, and having one is a great thing to have.
Yeah, I saw someone. I forget who posted it. Someone. Oh, Liana Rupert posted this on Blue Sky the other day, and it made a lot of sense. She said, you know, early in my career, I was nose down, go, 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 go. And at this point in my life, I just want to be steady and take care of myself. And I'm like, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense because she's been doing this longer than we have, even though, you know, she's younger than us. She's a hustler, man. So, yeah, I got her video from the Bossies, and it's very, very sweet, very nice.
Well, that's cool.
Appreciate her. Well, we have to have her on something at some point. We've talked about it a few times. She wants to. It's just obviously while she was at Bungie, she really couldn't, and then she's been going through a life transition, we'll say, and you know, we'll have her on. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, what she put on Blue Sky though, really. I was like, yeah, I kind of hear that. So very excited to maybe not be as busy this year, or different types of busy, I guess.
Well, hopefully she come on Power Block and talk about all things Nintendo.
Sure, maybe because she's so known for Nintendo.
I mean, it's, but I mean, really.
Also, I'm sure she's not going to sit there for 4 hours.
Oh yeah, no, she won't do that. An episode that you guys would probably see if this is out, be after that episode, but just be ready. If this comes out before that episode, once again, be ready.
Yeah. Speaking of episodes, Ed.
Yes.
This is this is part of our new rotation for Expansion Pass. We should probably go into that, I guess. Real quick. Just real quick. I know we kind of explained it on Pal Block and the Boss Rush podcast and the other places, but just in case you kind of tune out during housekeeping, which most people do, I get it. It's boring. This is part of our Boss Rush Expansion Pass kind of initiative where we kind of threw everything into one basket and said, we're going to call it Expansion Pass because that makes sense. You know, and so we're doing 3 exclusive things a month. And this is one of them called Nintendo Power Block 1-Up, which is just kind of like a exclusive episode of Power Block where Ed and I just kind of hang out and talk about whatever and figure out things that are happening in the world of Nintendo. And hopefully by the time this episode comes out, the Switch 2 hasn't been announced because there's a lot to talk about and speculate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then we're going to do 2 Boss Rush podcast Patreon episodes a month exclusively. And then everything else is going to be Expansion Pass Saturdays and Tuesdays, most Tuesdays, I should say. We're going to try to be more consistent and more flexible and kind of get that content out. But this is the one up episode of Nintendo Power Block is going to be Patreon exclusive. So yeah. Hope that made sense. I'm tired, not because it's late or anything, but because I've just been head down on the boss season trying to get content out at the same time, and it's been a challenge. But yeah, sometimes when my words come out, they don't make sense when I'm tired. So hopefully that was enough to make sense.
Yeah, it is.
Great.
Speaking of Switch 2 at this current state, I was thinking about when the Switch first came out or was announced, and during the direct, one of their directs, they showed like all the companies and games, that were going to be on Switch, and developers and publishers who was supporting it. We know that Square Enix is going to be supporting it. I have a feeling, of course, like a lot of the Japanese developers will be supporting them. Um, I kind of want to ask you, who do you think they could add on um to like support the Nintendo Switch 2
What do you mean
or
everybody's
the
already on
successor?
board?
I mean, will EA have more? Will Microsoft do more? With Sony do more? Will there be a lot of more American developers publishing games or developing games for Switch 2? Um, you know, uh,
I mean, I think it depends on the power level, how scalability works to a mobile platform, quote unquote, as opposed
mhm,
to, um, because the Xbox and the PlayStation both use uh, AMD architecture and x86, whereas Nintendo is going with NVIDIA again. Um, and these platforms continue to use the same uh, types of architecture now, because not just because they made a good deal or it's easy to develop for or anything, but it also, they don't have to re-engineer backwards compatibility the way the Xbox One kind of had to, right?
yeah,
And so I think it all depends on that, because obviously we're still getting PlayStation 4 games, and a lot of these games can still run on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in a
yep,
lot of ways. And some of these companies just choose not to put them there at this point, because they need to sell boxes. Well, Xbox kind of, you know, doing something different. And sometimes I don't even know if they know what they're doing.
right,
Um, but, theoretically, like, all those games are kind of scalable. You look at something like Steam. Steam's been around for 20 years. Well, a lot of the games you buy can run on older hardware. Sometimes there's PC specs that have like a minimum recommended level, but you go to Steam and you see what people are running on their machines, and you can kind of have a glance at what their machines are built with, and a lot of them are low end machines that are like, not very powerful at all. Um, And so you look at scalability, you look at the way these games run on a PlayStation 5 Pro versus a PlayStation 5 versus a PlayStation 4 Pro and a PlayStation 4. And then this new rumored handheld, you can apply the same logic to the Xbox ecosystem as well. And how do they run? What's the resolution? What's the frame rate? Does it do ray tracing or HDR, or, you know, what do the particle effects kind of look like? What do
mhm,
how much can you display on screen at one point? Like, there's a lot to look at, and I think it depends. Looking at the Switch architecture, like, obviously a lot of the work is kind of done through the dev kit, and like, you have these if you're building the game on a PC, you kind of, until you get a dev kit from Nintendo, right, you kind
right,
of match the specs on a PC and say this is about what the hardware level will be like, and then you kind of work around those limitations, and then once you get the dev kit, you kind of go in and fix what you need to and adjust and port and whatever. Just from talking to devs, that's kind of how it seems to work, right? And it kind of looks like the Switch 2 is going to be about somewhere in the range of the PlayStation 4 family of consoles, right? Somewhere in that range, whether it's docked or handheld. We've seen conflicting reports about power level, but a lot of the reports say they're within that family, right?
Yeah.
You can throw the Xbox One S in there if you want. So I think it depends on how easily games are ported. Three factors: how well the Switch 2 does, always a major factor with Nintendo, right? I mean, we're seeing people not put games on Xbox One or Xbox Series consoles because the console's not selling, right? So, will the Switch 2 sell? My initial thought is, well, yeah, probably. How easy is it to port? And what does scaling the game look like? How much work does it take to scale the game down? Those are the three factors. I think since we're still getting Xbox One and PlayStation 4 versions of Madden and FIFA and NBA 2K and all that, well, NBA 2K is already on the Switch, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think these games will exist on the Switch this time around. That's the big thing with EA's sports games, right? Is like FIFA's the only one that exists, and it's an old version of FIFA that's just updated rosters. Well, EA Sports FC now, I guess, is what it's called. So that would be the thing. That's the question. I would like to think so. I would like to think Microsoft wants to get their games on as many platforms as they want, because that's kind of been their messaging, right?
Yes.
Hopefully, I feel like, first of all, Xbox has a lot of explaining to do at some point. They had a big thing last night that said, look out for something on Game Pass tomorrow, and then they never announced what it was, so I don't even know what came to Game Pass today. We're recording this on New Year's Day, by the way, everybody, so just to give you context of that conversation. But I think these, I mean, you even saw Square come out and say it's not viable for them to put their games on one platform anymore, because they were talking about how the sales numbers for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and if they were happy or not. And they want to get their games on as many platforms as possible now. And I think that's the case for a lot of these companies that have games that require large budgets, and they're going to have to make their money back. And so you want to put them as many places as possible. The platform holders have that they have that secondary income of like, oh, we have a storefront, we're making 30% off of every single game that's sold here, or 25 or 20, depending on what deal you made with these. Generally it's 30%. So they have that income, and that income kind of supplements the cost of, and they can put that money where they need to, like whatever the next Spider-Man game that costs $400 million to make or whatever, right? Like, I think that is what you're gonna be, the situation you're gonna be running into, and I think that that's going to help push games to the Switch. That's my opinion. I think a lot of indie games are going to remain on the Switch. I think that that's just a nice home for indie games or smaller titles or AA titles. Obviously, you get into games like, the next Gears of War game will be able to run on Switch 2. I don't know. But a nice Gears collection that's been rumored forever would be nice. The Master Chief collection would be nice. Halo Infinite could be cool. But then you look at games like that, and you have to look at Nintendo's online service too, because that's a big component as well, is online play. What does that look like? Does it function? Am I going to be playing Smash Brothers in a slideshow format again? Like, these are the things that you have to look at.
But
And
online in general for all three platforms, I'm excluding PC in this conversation for a bit. I think it's I think online gaming now for all three platforms is so limited to probably about an estimated 5 to 10 games, and most of I think
I mean, that's
Mario.
not true.
I mean Mario Kart
You mean for
is.
Nintendo?
I'm talking about all three platforms.
Dude, you're not paying attention. That's
I mean,
that's
I
ridiculous.
mean,
5 to 10 games.
yeah.
I can name that right off the bat with
when it
no problem.
when it comes to online games, I think when we think of online, because I mean, of course, there's a broad spectrum of games, but the main ones I personally think is Mario Kart on Switch, Call of Duty now probably across PlayStation, Microsoft, and now PC, Destiny, same thing, um, Overwatch, Fortnite. That's five right there. I don't
Every
know
single
how.
sports game.
I don't know. Well, not every single sports game. Well,
Yeah.
probably college,
College
college
football,
football.
Madden, FIFA, NBA 2K, all huge online. NHL, huge online. That's 5 right there.
So that's 10 right there.
Yeah, but then you got Final Fantasy online. You have all your MMOs. You
Hmm.
have the First
That's
Descendant.
why I
You
said.
have
That's why I said as I'm excluding.
Warframe.
I was
You have
excluding PC with like kind
well,
of
those are all on consoles. So
but I think most people are playing those on PC. But I'm talking about Final Fantasy 14.
I think you're just making stuff up now. This is one of those situations where I just kind of am gonna stop.
No, but I'm just saying the ones that that's why I say it's a personal thing that I mostly know. That's why I say five
But
to
it's a
ten with everybody.
fact. It's not a personal feeling. It's a
But
fact.
but I'm just but I'm just talking about when it comes to online because I feel like when people say it's online, then you look at a lot of people saying that they love more single player games and they don't really play online. But if we look at online games, you know what games mostly get talked about or what games are mostly trending at this time. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is the one that's trending most when it comes to online gaming. You know, you kind of don't see anything else trending along with that unless it's Fortnite at this point in time.
Hmm.
So I think when it comes to Nintendo Online, if they get that together, it's gonna probably be the new Mario Kart. It's probably gonna be the new Smash Brothers. Um, I think some of the like EA Sports games and and maybe like Warframe, if Marathon happened to show up on Nintendo system, just a hypothetical. Like I don't think people are going to be like, oh well, I'm not going to play this on a Nintendo console. I'm going to play this on somewhere else and everything.
I mean, most people do play things other places, but that doesn't,
Hmm.
you know, negate the fact that these games exist on Switch. You know, like people are playing Overwatch and Apex Legends and Fortnite and Warframe and on Switch. You know, they're playing these games there. It's their online system needs to count for something,
Hmm.
and you know, I think people are continuously frustrated with how Nintendo's online works. Aside from NSO, although a lot of people like to complain about price, but they also think everybody thinks they're entitled to get things for free, so they can
Oh,
all go shut their mouths. But
pretty much.
um, I think I think this is the generation Nintendo has to get their online infrastructure right to keep these players from leaving, especially because they're pushing digital sales. They want to keep people in that ecosystem,
Hmm.
right? They want to keep people playing on the platform and keep them engaged and keep them buying skins in Fortnite, keep them buying DLC for Mario Kart and Smash Brothers fighters and you know Apex season passes. Like they want people to stay on the platform and they have to figure it out. And I think that's a big part of it. And I know traditionally Nintendo doesn't care, but new Nintendo needs to care. They've already proven that they are going to be, this is going to be the first generation since the N64 to the GameCube where their console is moving in a traditionally similar
Manner.
progression,
Oh.
right? Like, we're not getting a weird fad like the Wii, like the GameCube to the Wii or the Wii to the Wii U. Like, there's no gamepad, there's no motion controls, there's no new gimmick yet that we know of, at least. And even if there is, we still see in these leaked images, allegedly, that it's the Switch again, right? It's just a little bit bigger, a little bit more powerful, and it has an extra button probably somewhere. It's just the things that need to change are the things that the system can do on a software level,
Mm-hmm.
right? The eShop needs cleaned up, right? They have a
Yes.
suggestion for themes. Give people themes, right? I don't care about themes. I like the dark mode theme.
I,
That's I know people like their themes, right? Like on the 3DS and stuff, but
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like those kind of things, of like 3DS, I would love to have
yeah.
on Switch.
They need to fix the eShop. They need to make it easier to navigate. They need to make it, so it doesn't freeze every time you move down 3 spaces. They need to make the playing online a nicer experience, right? You need to be able to just plug a headset into either a controller or the console itself and talk to your friends. No
Mm-hmm.
weaving in and out of an app on your phone. None of that, right? Just let me plug a thing into the console and talk to my friends. And they need to make sure playing games online functions as intended. Smash Brothers was a wreck when it launched. Splatoon 3 is still having problems, right? Like, and these are their own games.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 3 things Nintendo needs to do. And I think as long as they can do that and the console is more like at least a PlayStation 4 level power, and you can draw games in like, Final Fantasy 7 or something that Microsoft is putting out and wants to put on your console, like Sea of Thieves would be huge on Switch. If you're like, think of like a college dorm room or like, a common area or something, and people have their
Yeah.
Switches out and they're playing Sea of Thieves or something like that. Like, Microsoft wants that. That's why they put it on PlayStation.
I think that would literally boggle the mind if COD showed up on Nintendo's next console and that just do like gangbusters.
Well, that's the thing though, right? Is like, I think that
Mm-hmm.
the only reason why it's not there now is because the online sucks. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, remember for the first 6 months Warframe was out, it like bricked systems if you weren't on the current update. Remember
Oh
that?
yeah, yeah.
Like, that was terrible. And Fortnite, like, it runs well enough, but like there's still points on Switch where I'm like, man, I wish this was just a little bit more powerful so I could like actually
Mm-hmm.
play this game.
Well,
So
I think that's why when it comes to the online factor with the Switch, that it was so minimal because I think all the sales of the single player games were so big that online wasn't online. The thought of
online was
online
what
wasn't added in the conversation.
right, because Nintendo has trained their players not to care about online because it sucks so bad.
Mm-hmm.
They need to retrain their players to say, hey, we have a functioning online. We need you to stay here. They could even introduce achievements. Like, I know people think that that's dumb at this point, but
Mm-hmm.
like, I think an achievement system, which we thought they were doing with the Wii U at this point, and they should also reintroduce Miiverse on the next console. Like, Miiverse would have been huge, or like what was that app that they put out right before the Switch came out, Miitomo or whatever, like
Mito,
the social media app.
I think so. Yeah, Mitomo.
Like,
I think so.
have those somehow integrated into the next console and have your own little
Well,
like social media ecosystem,
that's
have your online functionality, have your achievements, and like when the Wii U was experimenting with like those sticker books, remember when,
mhm.
or
Oh
stamp
yeah,
books or whatever, like
the stamps.
Super Mario 3D World had it, Twilight Princess had it, and there are a few other games that had it. And like you fill out the stamp book, and if you finish the stamp book, you could like flip through it and see like when you got the stamp, like the date, the time,
Yeah,
that kind of thing. That's awesome. And Mario Wonder kind of experiments with that too a little bit with like the postcards, right? Like when you finish a level, it sends you a postcard and it stamps it with the date, right?
Yes.
And it's like it's not really an achievement, but it's like a nice little extra thing, you know?
Yeah. I think it's and I think the it's weird when it comes to Nintendo and online, because I think when it comes to online, I would say this: when it comes to the word online, we're thinking of third party games more than we think of first party. We think of the functionality of first party games, but we don't really think fully of all their games being online.
Well,
When
again, Nintendo has always trained their players that, couch co-op is important, which, it is, or
yes,
couch competitive. Like Smash Brothers is clearly a couch competitive game, right?
yes,
But it doesn't have to be. Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter were also that until they weren't.
yes,
Mario Kart, like, yeah, you can still get online, but it is better when people are in the room.
room,
But it doesn't have to be. It can
and
if you give people voice chat and, party, like have an Xbox live style party chat
yeah,
where you can sit in there with your friends and talk and race and play, like, and that, or like imagine if the next Mario Kart had like a double dash mode where you got two people on the same cart and like
uh,
you're swapping back and forth with a partner online and, take over driving. I got the red shell or whatever, right? Like
yeah.
I'm just thinking of all these situations where it could be so much fun to play online because people can't always have people over.
Right. Which the idea for Nintendo, because this is a business idea for them, is more sales of the console. You bring your console over and you guys play through Wi-Fi or connecting or whatever like that. That's their own. That's their idea. And I think I still wonder if it's a social idea from Japan than it is here in America. Because I think it's a different
Well,
dynamic.
they have to. I understand that that's important to them,
Yeah.
but Nintendo has become a worldwide phenomenon. They have the theme parks now,
Yes.
right? They have the movies. They have TV shows. They have all this stuff in the works.
And they have to think outside of
They
just
have to
Japan. They
when
got to
they're
think of
like they nailed it. They nailed the Japanese part of it, right? Where
yeah.
you can take the Switch with you on the train. You can play with your, ad hoc with your friends instead of connecting to the internet. Like they have all that. They nailed it, right? It's
Yes.
it's nailed. They have to focus. I mean, they don't have to, but they should be focusing on what they can do with the rest of the world now and connect people online because that's where the rest of the world is, you
Hmm.
know? And if they plan on selling this thing in China, they need to get it online too, you know? Not, I know that the eShop is going offline at the beginning of 2025 there for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't
Um
understand what's going on with that. I didn't really read that much into it because
I
I don't really
think
care, but
they haven't given her reason just yet. I think there was like assumptions and suspicious of things, but they haven't really finally like give it, because I know what China they I know for the
it's
Wii
probably a
they had
government policy thing.
probably I know for the Wii, I don't know if the Wii U, but I know definitely for the Wii they had the tablets. They could play the games like on like their mobile phones and mobile tablets. Um and I think the Switch was the first for China for their console to be sold in that country.
Hmm.
Um so yeah, that one is still weird. I think we're still waiting to see what's going on with that. Hopefully we get an answer with it. But I do agree. I think that's the thing with Nintendo. They have to think outside of Japan. They have to think about America. They have to think about the UK and Canada and just all these other
Yeah.
places
And
who
when I say that, I don't mean to. I'm not trying to sound like a Western elitist or anything,
oh
right? I'm
no,
just saying
no.
from like a business perspective, you need to start considering the rest of the world because
There's different ways that we
we're all,
connect around the
yeah,
world.
yeah, we're all
Like
playing your games. We all love your games. Like, I would love to hop online and play a round of Mario Golf with someone, or
you're right.
you know, Nintendo has so many games that have great, ideas for online Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, all the Mario sports games, all, Smash, Mario Kart, Splatoon, Animal Crossing even, right?
Yeah,
Like there's so many things you could be utilizing better online functionality for, and they're just not because they aren't. I don't know what else to.
I think I think it still feels like the old Nintendo. There's a fear from, I would say that, and this is just my guess, everybody. I think it's still that fear of the 360, PS3, DS, 3DS or DS era, kind of in a sense, where online felt very toxic, and when 3DS had their social kind of app things, it was used in a used in a wrong manner from certain people, which ended up making them stop having to have that services be used. And I think Nintendo is fearful of that. If they return back to those things that could be beneficial to them and their system, that people would use it once again for nefarious reasons. And they don't want that to be applied to their image of them as a company. Um, I mean, there still is toxicity online, but you don't hear it like you heard it. Like we seen it during the 360 and the PS3 era. Definitely on the 360 era. With certain games online, we don't see that nowadays. You kind of see that everybody wants to play your game together around the world, and they just wish that the I guess the functionality was better, and hopefully um with that secret game that they let people be able to try with the number thing, hopefully that was a trial for whatever online function, like if they was trying to do a new one, because we'll probably see something new once the system comes out. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
you even
Oh,
think
go
of
ahead.
games like you think of a game that would be huge on the Switch. Monster Hunter Wilds is coming out.
Yeah.
That game is going to be a hit no matter where it's released. Like, get your online right and get that game on the Switch however you can.
knowing,
Like
knowing Capcom probably gonna do something different. The Monster Hunter team, I should say, not Capcom. I think the Monster Hunter team, I think they like to focus game by game for systems. I think like Nintendo, they would get a whole different version of a game for Monster Hunter, while PlayStation and Xbox and Steam and whoever get a different version. I think they like bouncing off of that. So I don't think Nintendo's gonna get WoWs. I think Monster Hunter is gonna get a whole new, maybe Monster Hunter Rising 2 or something, or Monster Hunter Hill Mountain Killers or whatever. Um, I think the Monster Hunter team is gonna be like, we want to focus on one game per generation or systems, and then once we feel like we got to run out of for that, we're gonna go ahead and do bring this one. A new version to Nintendo. Like the Nintendo one, like Monster Hunter Rising felt very experimental and it was successful, and then they ported that to Xbox and PlayStation. If WoW is like a follow up to um not Monster Hunter Rise, but Monster Hunter World, I don't think Nintendo's gonna get anything just yet until the Monster Hunter team decides to do a whole new different thing. Now I agree with you. Monster Hunter Wild on Switch, playing with them. Oh heck yeah! Like of course that would be, they would definitely sell a lot, especially
mhm.
if it runs smooth like the other systems. Yeah, and it's crossplay. Yeah, people would love that. They would definitely see buku sales. Monster Hunter Rise doing 3 million plus in like what, a few weeks after it came out. Like that's nothing to laugh at. That was on one console.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, there's companies who have to sell on multiple systems, platforms to even reach not a state of happiness, but to even reach getting their money back.
Meet expectations.
Expectations. It's. it's like, I don't know. There's something about Nintendo that, yes, we hoping that their second system or their successor will do a lot of changes. What those changes will be, I mean, yes, as Westerns, we have a whole list. But will Nintendo go through with it because they're such a Japanese company? Um, if as if those stockholders and CEOs are talking and want their system to be on the level as the other things, Nintendo would definitely have to put that work in to get it to that level, because it's their money, it's their investment. And if you want to make sure that they continue to invest in your company and everything, you got to meet their demands.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks for some people, but I'm like, shoot, if you want to have a great online, it's it's not going to be up to us. We can voice our opinion about it, and hopefully that they catch on and see the changes. But I'm like, those CEOs got to be talking about that online stuff to Nintendo. Be like, we want to make sure that your online decision is up to snuff like these other companies, because players are saying that you need to be better. And if they need to be better for us to get more sales for this business, then you need to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I just I hope they know. I hope they really, because they're in a place now where they can totally blend their nostalgia with the future, right?
Yes, yes,
Like, this is the first time they've really opened the door for anything, since the 90s,
yeah,
external. I mean, we talk about the movies all the time. The fact that they're doing a live action Zelda movie is crazy. The Mario movie is super successful. I mean, I think you see the success of Mario and Sonic right now, and like,
yeah,
it's so crazy the success that those two characters are having right now, in different perspectives and different ways. And I just watched Sonic 2 the other night while I was working on stuff, and it's a fun movie. I mean, they're
yeah.
not like Oscar winning movies or anything, but I don't really care about that stuff.
The real game movies, it's just, they're supposed to be popcorn fun.
Yeah, they're just super fun, and I think fun has changed, and I think Nintendo needs to see where more people are having that fun and
Mm-hmm.
try to adapt what they're great at, which they have to an extent, right? I mean, Splatoon was a great new IP for them.
Yeah,
It's a huge hit, right? And they've tried, I think I think the thing that's missing now is just the technical part of it.
yes,
So to me, that's what they need to figure out. And if they can do that, they'll get the Maddens and the Call of Duties, and well, they're already getting Call of Duty
the
because
duties.
Microsoft promised the
Yeah,
government. Well, I mean, we'll see which ones they get, but um, you know, we'll see. We'll see. But I think Nintendo just has to figure that part out, and they'll be fine. They have clearly been fine this generation. Um, and they've obviously influenced a whole another wave of like, oh, handheld gaming has a viable place in our industry still. People just don't want to split their ecosystems at this point,
right.
and they've clearly pioneered that direction. And I think they can, they're gonna, this is this almost feels like uh the evolution of generations all over again, of like, okay, well, Atari's kind of weird graphical style evolved into the NES, which evolved into the 16-bit Super NES, which was like pixel art perfection, right? Well,
Yes,
you look at Nintendo's trajectory now. The Wii U was like, okay, well, you can play on this tablet, but what if you put the hardware in the tablet instead of streamed it to the tablet? Okay, well, now we have the Switch. Switch is an amazing piece of hardware, right? what if we made it a little bit more powerful to draw in those huge games, and you can take those huge games on the go?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is their, whatever this new console is called. I think this is their Super Nintendo moment of like, this is the best possible version of this that you're gonna get for a while, and I think you're gonna see another 10-year generation for Nintendo.
It's I think to me it's gonna. I'm probably gonna look at it just like because I know they're gonna be comparing it to Steam, like the Steam Deck and the Raw Gallight and all of this stuff. I don't think they're gonna be using. I don't think the comparisons of the hardware is gonna be to Xbox and PlayStation. I think because of the new PC handheld market being so
Mm-hmm.
big, I think that's what it's gonna get compared to
Yeah,
and everything.
you're going to compare it to those because those are the things that are the most, like it,
Yeah,
um, right now.
but but I think the thing for me is gonna be like how much money is the Switch gonna make these companies? The successor, because the thing I think that's gonna be the thing about it is that when Switch came out, and I'll probably say over the years, um, as games got put on the platform, and it's selling millions plus, whether it's indies, third party, of course, first party have been doing good, like all the cash that Nintendo got in Japan. Um, it really made it just feels like the Switch made a lot of companies a lot of money. Definitely for the companies who were porting third party games to the system, that they would be getting more work. Um, so it's going to be like, can the successor still do it? And I think that's why I'm starting off this discussion of what companies and publishers and developers we would like to see on it. Um, I feel like the successor is going to be bringing in new developers and new publishers and um carry over current publishers that is publishing games on the platform. you know uh like, I don't think there's going to be so much acquisitions from Nintendo themselves for the successor. It's just going to be like, okay, we didn't support the Switch now, but let's try to get a dev kit. Let's try to get some of our games on the platform, still using Unreal, still using Unity, still using our own engine or whatever. And if Nintendo is such a new not consumer friendly, conservative kind of company, and they want they want as many games or the best games on their system, if they want to look like they are the leading platform for gaming, or get to that ideal of being the leading platform for gaming, I think Nintendo's gonna go out and try to get more publishers and developers on there. And if you don't want to develop, Nintendo is gonna feel fine. But just know that if you miss out on the success that has been a proven record from our last console hybrid, you might want to try to if possible, if they can get that dev kit and everything, you want to make sure that your game gets on that Nintendo platform, the successor. Because once again, you know the physicals for Switch, for the next console,
Hmm.
Switch 2, is still going to be as important like it is now on the current Switch.
Yeah, I also think the next console needs to consider supporting or having, at least Nintendo's first party stuff, like mobile stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon trading card,
Yes.
like that thing, and have it be like, almost like the Let's Go games were kind of crossover with Pokemon Go, right? Like,
Yeah.
they need to have some sort of interaction with their mobile stuff. Um, not in like any kind of like, oh, well, I can, do whatever here and then I can whatever, but like, I think there needs to be interaction with the mobile stuff. And like, that's where I think Miiverse and Miitomo you brought those things back. That could be where you interact with these games too, right? Like, I don't know, man. There is some way where all this can fit and work together. And I think out of everybody who has attempted this, Nintendo could be the one that actually focuses to do this correctly because games are what they do. It's
Yeah.
games isn't like, okay, yes, games is a part of their broader business now, but like games are the core of their business. It's not like Sony and Microsoft where games are like a part of their
Part.
business,
Yeah.
right? Where increasingly so PlayStation is becoming Sony's major brand, right? But like still, it's still a part of their business, right? Whereas Nintendo, video games are what they do and what they do best. And if they
Right.
can figure out how to connect people with Miiverse and, you know, bring Miitomo back and have Animal Crossing kind of be like this weird thing, like there's so many things that they could do. And if they did it right, man, there would be something really special. It wouldn't just feel like you know, an ecosystem, which these
Right.
companies like to use, right? It would feel like a community almost, and like really people interacting with each other in meaningful ways and not just like leaving a crappy review on, you know, the Witcher 4 when it comes out on Xbox saying that Siri's not hot enough, right? Like
Right.
you know what I mean? Like that. And Nintendo clearly moderates these things because remember how many like we'll say body part drawings were in Splatoon on on the Wii
Yeah.
U, and Nintendo clearly like moderates that stuff and got rid of most of it, right? I
Yes.
mean, one slipped through the crack here and there, but they were pretty good. Or like the Mario Maker levels, right? Like these things are moderated heavily by Nintendo,
Yeah.
and I think you could do that. So I don't know. I think Nintendo has a lot of great ideas, and they just haven't. It's not that I think they're lazy and haven't figured it out. They aren't working on it the way that, you know, like Google or Microsoft seem to have done with like avatars or their social media platforms or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like I think Nintendo wants to make it right. And so that's why some of these things have gone away,
Hmm.
because they just can't figure out how to make it right. But I think if anybody could do it right, it would be them.
Yeah, and I think that's why I think earlier in the conversation, uh, Nintendo has to think outside of Japan when it comes to like the online and the social aspect of stuff. That like you said earlier, there's different ways that we connect around the world. Definitely here in the West, here just in the United States, we connect online.
Hmm.
Because we can't be everywhere. We can't get on the train system and try to do Splatoon because not everybody plays Splatoon on the train or Mario Kart or even have a Nintendo Switch on the train.
Hmm.
Going to Chicago or going to Ohio or wherever. It's there's the travel system is different here in America than it is
Well,
in Japan.
it's not just that, but I think about all the people that I've met through, like, look at Destiny, for example, right? Like,
Hmm.
how many people, not just in the United States, but around the world that I've met just playing that game, and
Yeah.
and we're connected because Bungie has a hub. You know, the Bungie.net is a community hub, has leaderboards and message boards and clan tags, and you know they have integration into Discord and Twitch, and you know you can easily find people on, you know, through the game now, like with their Bungie IDs, and like, you know, easy communication through the, you know, the in-game chat. Destiny has an in-game chat now that has like a translator in it now, and like they
Oh,
have
that's
all these
cool.
they have like all these really neat things that just can connect you with people. And it's like a path of least resistance type thing of like, oh, you know, this person doesn't speak English, well I can type it something in the chat. If, you know, we're never gonna like raid or anything because that requires strong communication, but like, you know, if we're running a strike or something and they never ran it, and you can just type in, oh, dunk the orb in the thing, and you know it'll tell them what to do, you know, because of smart translation features and things like that. And
And
like,
that's becoming like really popular now.
yeah.
Like I use it, so I use it at work. There's a lot of Spanish people who don't speak English, and vice versa. I don't speak Spanish, but we throw on our Google Translate and we speak to each other that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that we can understand what each is saying without having to have somebody translate with us. I mean, it's a quick transaction with that. Um, and so that kind of feature is coming, is being done, and a lot is now becoming very popular with a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, there's just and not I'm not saying Nintendo needs to put a translator into their thing, although
Right.
I think that would be relatively easy at this point in terms of like just throwing a translation
That
part
probably
into an app or something, right? Not,
that would definitely
uh,
be a cool accessibility
I mean,
for this console.
I mean, there's already things in like, when you search for things on Google and you go to like a Japanese website, there's a translate button and it roughly translates it for you, right? I mean, it's
Yes.
not perfect every time, but you can kind of, you know, muscle your way through it
Yes.
and understand what's going on. I don't know, man. I'm telling you, there are just some really neat things Nintendo could really take advantage of.
And it I think over time, once we find out what the system is, what features it will have, um, hopefully over time with the system releases, more features will roll out that they do update their online system or online service. Like I always said that if you kind of and it's crazy that I keep saying it, but I'm like I always feel like if you want the best online service, you going to have to, at this point in time have to go ask Microsoft to help you because I'm like from the 360 on, like they have been the head of online services and online
Mhm.
functionality. So if you want the best, Microsoft is the thing. And like we said, Microsoft and Nintendo have the strongest relationship in gaming at this point in time. Um,
Yeah.
and so why not? They're Microsoft is not trying to compete with Nintendo and vice versa. I think they both trying to do their own thing. But I'm like, if you want to have the great cloud system or just online functionality, things that will work, Microsoft is right there and everything. I mean, you already worked with them for Smash, you already worked with them on Minecraft. You see how great their online service is. Now I don't know how they own the online. I don't know who does the online service in Japan, but for the kind of like the rest of the world, it is Microsoft. No disrespect to Apple or anything, but I'm like when it comes to gaming, you was talking about the eShop store. When you go to Microsoft store, when it works sometimes, that thing is fast and quick. The search option is a mess sometimes, but you want to scroll through games, you got 6 7 games loading down fast when you're trying to go through the screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
If the eShop was like on that level, cool.
Yep.
I can't say much for Sony because the PlayStation 4 store was a little bit messy,
I mean,
and the PlayStation
The
3.
PlayStation 5 store sucks too, but you know, I
So
can't
can't
you can
win
only
them
do
all.
so much. Yeah. So I don't know, but I don't know. I still think the Wii U eShop was and I mean the Wii shop was pretty good, but the Wii U eShop, like the way it was like designed and separated and organized was really nice.
Yeah.
Because they had, I mean, obviously there are way too many games to be doing that now, but like something similar to that would be nice, you know?
Yeah. The Wii U eShop really wasn't bad. Definitely like with the sales and just getting games and stuff. I guess it just felt easier. Um compared I think it was compared to the way that the Wii was when you had to buy the points and everything and trying to find the games and stuff. Um but that was kind of like their first console digital sale. So it's kind of evolved, but like the eShop now on I know I kind of feel like they tried to merge the eShop from the 3DS and use that idea
Yeah,
along with the Wii U to the Switch, and it just didn't work.
the 3DS eShop. was not great either.
It it worked at times. It was fine for me, but I was buying a lot of my games on
I mean, a
for
lot.
physical.
Yeah, I mean,
So
yeah, I mean, a lot of the 3DS stuff was physical, and like, the usually the good indie stuff that you were looking for was featured, or like you just went to the indies page and then it was done.
pretty much yes.
So,
And like I normally was on the eShop like on Fridays, like when I got paid or if I had some money in my account. It was really for just the themes and some of the indie games.
mhm.
And I think they push a lot of sales because a lot of the sales on the 3DS, that's what everybody was going to get a lot of sales. If stuff was on Wii U, for people who own a Wii U, if you saw it on sale and you didn't have it or you didn't see it in the store, you would buy it and download it. Just to show support. But like Shovel Knight, when that dropped on Wii U, like everybody was buying it. Um,
Yeah. Well, that game was amazing though.
yeah, but I'm like, you got to think about shoot the Wii U crash, the Wii U service eShop crash when Ryu came out for Smash Brothers Wii U, and
Mhm.
everything. But not so much now. They bought the pack and they learned from that for that thing. But like their eShop, I think definitely with a better online, with a better store, if it is quick and snappy. Um, if they incorporate what Microsoft does, buying the games off your phone,
Yeah.
um, and everything, and um, if they could do that, like the Redbox thing idea that I had that I talked about months ago, but I'm like, if you could buy games off your phone, um. Do the Nintendo app or whatever they want to do. I don't know how they're going to incorporate mobile. That's something in the future. Um, if you could buy games off the phone, shoot, and just have it. If you got your successor, as long as it's connected to an internet cable, bam, it'll load. Or if you leave it at home and you buy all of these games, because Nintendo definitely get rid of the one game per soul. Get that cart in. We talked about this before. That the Microsoft Store cart is kind of one of the best. It's the same with PlayStation, but that cart thing on Microsoft Store I love because I could throw all the games that I want that's on sale or regular price and just purchase them all at once. Only thing I gotta worry about is having the space for them. I'm like Nintendo, you could do
Mhm.
that. Shoot,
By
you
the way,
guys.
the 1.5 terabyte memory card is on sale right now. By the way,
Oh, how much?
it's it's $94 right now.
That's not bad.
No, I know. I've been thinking about getting it. I've like it's in my cart right now on Amazon,
Uh huh.
and I'm like, I need to if I'm gonna do it, I need to do it as soon as we're done recording because I don't want that sale to go away. Because once it shoots back up to like $150, I'm like, nah, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus, I have a gift card, so
Oh, Amazon.
yeah.
Uh,
So it'd be like
oh,
$40 for me.
nice. I still got my Amazon gift card, but I'm not going to use it for a bit. Um,
I mean, if
for
you're not going to use it,
reasons.
I will.
Of course, you will.
I mean, I've never had a problem with Amazon, but you know, I have 3 distribution centers within driving distance of my house. So
Yeah, you can order your Red Bull, and they'll be by your house like in an hour and a half.
yeah, I mean, sometimes I order it like 1 o'clock in the morning and it's there at like 4 a.m.
Craziness.
It's awesome.
Uh, but Corey, I think we're gonna wrap it up there.
No. Okay.
So, so, uh, yeah, everybody, this has been Expression Pass. Corey, you want to do all the plugging and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, if you're listening to this on Patreon, you're already a patron, so thank you for your support. We plan to do more of these in the future. We're just trying to get our feet wet here and figure out what's the best route to do. But also, if you're listening to this episode, the go check out the Bossies Very excited to have that done and out of the way. Check out our other expansion pass episodes. If you're a patron, remember you get expansion pass episodes, early access. You get book club, one month early access, all that stuff. Go to bossrush.net and you can check out all of our content and subscribe on YouTube, all that stuff. Very excited, man. 2025 is here and we are doing the thing.
Yes, we are.
So
we're about to have some insane discussions.
I know that was a terrible plug, but we don't have a doc for this. The point of this is to be off the cuff and dumb. So we don't have I don't have the thing in front of me, but
everybody, we have to keep the fact and the wackiness together. Corey's the facts, I'm the wackiness.
Yeah, we know I'm the facts. 5 to 10 online games. Give me a break.
I'm just saying the ones that we could think of, or ones I
thought of 15 off the top of my head without even
I'm saying once again, I just said across all 3 platforms, excluding PC, that are popular that we know about. I'm just saying that's coming from me and me only. You the facts, I'm the wackiness.
Ed also still uses AOL discs and dial-up internet.
I'm going to drag about you when I see you this year.
You're not going to see me. I'm going to hide.
Oh, no. I will. You're only a 6.5 hour drive, probably.
It's too far. It's not far enough. I forgot to tell you I'm moving again.
After buying the house?
Yeah, my wife's kicking me out. I'm moving.
Oh no. What weird I can't even get it out. Where would you move if you had to move out of state? Out of Ohio.
Out of state? I don't know. I didn't get that far. Somewhere warmer.
I've been thinking of, if I had to, I would go to Kentucky. Because my friend's mom lived there, and some of the church members that I know could cook. And when I talk about they could cook, this is like, I might come back here with a wife.
Jeez. For me, it would probably be one of the Carolinas. It's warmer, it's relatively safe and cheap, and yeah.
Wow. Well, everybody, that's been it for Expression Pass. I was on Nintendo talk. And I guess we'll see you next time on Expression Pass. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.